In the past 30 years, I have played a lot of MMORPGs, but this is one that I'll never forget. Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. So a few weeks ago, I found myself watching a video of some guy playing EverQuest. His name is Wreck-It Rogue, and actually he wasn't just playing EverQuest, he was playing on an emulated server called Project Quarm. Now, I'm not going to go into the gory details about Project Quarm in this video, but I'll put a link down below in case someone wants to go digging and check it out. The short version is that Project Quarm is a time-locked progression server set in the Plains of Power era. Expansions come out every 9 months, so currently we're in the Runes of Kunark expansion with Scars of Velius slated to come out on April 1st, 2025, so still a lot of time left in Kunark. And I'm watching this video and I'm thinking, man, I haven't played EverQuest in like 20 years, but for whatever reason, Wreck-It's video had me completely on the hook. I don't know if it was just crazy nostalgia or looking back with rose-colored glasses, but I had to give it a try. So I did that. I sorted out how to get myself into the game in Project Quarm, and I got to tell you, it was everything I remembered. So EverQuest, different than modern MMORPGs, it's very slow progression, but every step really feels like you earned it, and your power, you could feel the power increase, and everybody celebrates. Unlike a lot of games today where the progression is super fast to get to end game, and that's where most of the game exists, is in the end game. EverQuest, you really get some time to be in your character and living in that character and living in the world. So it's a little bit different. The other big thing is the world is dangerous. I've played a lot of more recent MMORPGs, and often you find that you can overpower the world and it's not really a dangerous place to be in. Not in EverQuest. The world's dangerous, and if you die in the wrong place, you might lose all your gear. At a minimum, you're going to lose some experience. You might even lose a level, depending on how much experience you lose. And traveling across the world or traveling in general can be very dangerous. EverQuest also drives you towards grouping with others. You can solo, but it will usually be slower and a lot less exciting, at least to me. One of the great things about EverQuest is how it drives you towards grouping, in my opinion. And somehow all of these factors, this combination of factors, comes together to draw a certain type of player to EverQuest, or at least to Project Quarm, that ends up creating this awesome community full of really helpful people. I mean, really, really helpful people. Project Quarm is like this bastion of nice, fun, supportive MMORPG players. And honestly, I don't think I've ever seen a kinder, more generous community in any MMORPG. And as mentioned in the intro, over the years, I've played a lot of them. So once I sorted out how to get started in Project Quarm, I played around with a few different characters before settling in on my main, Crushed him, who you can see here on the screen. He's an Ogre Shadow Knight. One thing about Crush is when I play him, I stay fully in character. I'm a big, dumb, still evil ogre. It has been fun every step of the way being inside of that character and having a great time. I've met and grouped with so many awesome people, made lots of friends along the way. It has been a heck of a ride so far, and I'm happy to keep it going. Recently, I started thinking about making a second character, but I was having a really hard time trying to decide what to play. I mean, the only real limit that I had on myself was I didn't really want to play anything I had done back when I played live EverQuest 20 years ago. But really, honestly, that was only a couple of characters because there weren't a ton of alts back then. So back then, I played up through the Lost Dungeons of Norath expansion, and in that time, the only characters I really played at any kind of high level were a Barbarian Shaman, a Dark Elf Wizard, and a Wood Elf Bard. So that left a lot of possible combinations. And I was trying to decide how to decide which one to pick or how to go about even picking. So that led me to this crazy idea of having sort of a randomized tournament using like a bracket. And so that I would try out a bunch of randomized race class combos and kind of see if I can pick one to keep going. And that's where we are today. So here's the plan. I'm going to randomly select 8 race class combos, making sure there's no repeats. And I'm going to play them through a tournament style bracket. Each of the bracket stages will go up increasing levels. So originally I thought about level 5 as the first split, but I think that's really too early and doesn't really give enough time to get to know the character or see some of their skills, especially since hybrid classes don't even get any spells until level 9. So we're going to go with level 10 for the first bracket. That should give me enough time to get into the character, really explore their starting areas and the adjacent zones, and let those hybrid classes get their early spells and have a level or so to play around with them. For the second bracket, we'll go up to, I think, 17 and then probably 23 for the finals. That might be subject to change, but it does give a pretty good exposure to those new spells around those levels for both the hybrids and the pure casters. And I want to kind of make sure we actually have a feel for the character at that level and don't end too early at too low of a level. So for each stage of the bracket, I'll rate the run for each of the characters on a few different factors. It's going to be a mix of kind of objective and subjective things, definitely leaning towards subjective because in the end, I really have to like playing the character. So we'll do a little bit of the rule of cool, what I think is cool for the judging. One thing about the Project Quarm community is they're super generous, but for the sake of trying to keep this contest equal, we're going to put a rule in place that we don't accept any candy from strangers. We're not going to take any gifts or any items or any power leveling. If someone insists on giving us something, we can always bank it for later, but I want to have as genuine a leveling experience as possible on each of these characters. But if we get into groups organically that are appropriate to our level, that's okay. So to add a little something extra into the mix, I'm also going to be writing a small backstory for each of the randomly generated characters and then coming up with a personality or a voice for them and then doing my best to stay in character while playing them. Hopefully I don't run out of different tropes to use, but we'll see how it goes. All right, awesome. Let's get into it. We're going to generate these race class combos. So the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to enter all of the races that are available in Project Quarm into a picker wheel. So if you go to pickerwheel.com, you can check it out if you want. Based on that race, I will enter all the classes available to that race in a second wheel and spin that as well. And that will generate our race class combo. Definitely want to make sure all of these will be unique characters. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove any results we get, I'll remove from the wheel so we can't get the same race or class twice. I'm also going to omit the characters I had as mains before, as I mentioned earlier, Barbarian Shaman, Dark Elf Wizard, and Wood Elf Bard. Although any of those races or classes are allowed, I just don't want those specific combos because I've played through that before. I'm also going to omit Ogre Shadow Knight because of crushed him here. So I'm going to run through a montage of the selection process so we don't have to sit through all the admin, and then I'll jump back in with some comments afterwards.
Let's rock. Dance the rock, 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 shadooby-doo, rock and roll, come on. Well, tonight's the night we're gonna dance a little rock and roll, rock and roll. Tonight's the night we're gonna blow the speakers out. Boop, boop, I want y'all to do the twist. Come on, I want y'all to do the twist. That's right. Come on, rock, 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 shadooby, rock and roll. And the greaser boys in the house, Bobby Soxers and the Teddy boys rock and roll. All the rockabilly girls, I want you on the dance floor now. Let me tell you why, 'cause tonight's the night we're gonna twist the whole town round. Wow, wop, bop, bop. Show some love for the cool cats in the scene. Cool skirts and the jukebox playing loud. Hot rods and leather coats, 'cause we be swinging on Saturday nights. Let me tell you why, 'cause tonight's the night we're gonna twist a little rock and roll.
All right, so there we have it. That looks like our first matchup is going to be an Ixar Shaman versus a Halfling Druid. I think this is going to be a fun matchup. Not only are we looking at a classic good versus evil battle, but these are also races I've never played in any of my time in EverQuest, and it will be the first time that I adventure through the Ixar and Halfling starting zones. Really looking forward to it. Class-wise, I have played a Shaman before, but it's been many years, and I've never played a Druid, so I'm really looking forward to checking that out. So we're going to wrap up here, and in the next video, we'll get introduced to our new Ixar Shaman, find out his name, backstory, and start working our way to level 10. Thanks for watching. There's more to come, and I'm excited. Thanks again, everybody, and though the channel is very new, if you're interested in seeing where these shenanigans take us, please push those glorious YouTube buttons everyone always asks you to push, and I'll look forward to seeing you next time.